So let's look at powers and square roots of directed numbers. Before we look at worked example 4, I'll do a couple of other examples. If I have 4 squared means 4 times 4. As a basic numeral, that is 16. But let's look at negative 4 squared. Negative 4 squared means negative 4 times negative 4. Remember from our multiplying integers video, we look at the numbers. 4 times 4 is 16, and a negative times by a negative gives us a positive. So both 4 squared and negative 4 squared give us an answer of 16. The significance of this, if I asked you what the square root of 16 is, in the past you might have told me that the answer is 4, because what the square root is what times by what gives me the 16, and the what's, if you like, need to be the same. Hopefully what's above has shown you there's 2 answers for this. The square root of 16, well, 4 times 4 gives us 16, but also negative 4 times negative 4 gives us 16. So if we are asked what the square root of 16 is, there's 2 answers. It's 4, or it could be negative 4. That is often written as positive or negative 4. Let's look at another one. If we have 5 squared, 5 times 5 gives us 25. If we have negative 5 squared, negative 5 times negative 5 also gives us positive 25. So let's look in reverse. What is the square root of 25? So what 2 things times together to give us 25? There's 2 answers. It's either 5 or negative 5. Remember, often written as positive or negative 5. That will help us later on over here. So worked example 4 says evaluate each of the following. Let's look at the first one, negative 5 cubed. Let's write that in factor form. That means negative 5 times by negative 5 times by negative 5. Writing that as a basic numeral, well, we go 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 gives us 125. Now let's look at the signs. A negative times by a negative, well, that gives us a positive. But then we need to times it by a negative, takes us back to a negative. I'll do another one like that. Negative 2 to the power of 4. Written in factor form, it's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. So I do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16. Let's look at our signs. A negative times by a negative, well, that gives me a positive. But then I times it by another negative, so it gives me a negative. But then if I times that negative by another negative, it's back to a positive. So the answer is positive 16. Example B, what's the square root of 64? Well, there's 2 answers to this, remember, by way of this explanation over here. We know that 8 times 8 gives us 64. But we also know that negative 8 times negative 8 gives us positive 64. So what is the square root of 64? Positive and negative 8.